Hello, I'm Michael Allen.
And I'm Gabriella Garcia. We hope you enjoyed the first episode of Cleat Geeks. We are excited to bring you episode 2.
CleatGeeks.com published over 30 articles in the past week by 10 different writers on a variety of sports subjects. If sports writing has always been a passion of yours, then we encourage you to go to CleatGeeks.com and at the very bottom of the page, click on Do You Have What It Takes to Be One of Our Geeks? And start a rewarding career with a reputable website and join our team.
This week, D. Wade has decided to do just that, and now he has 2 different MMA articles up on our site. His first article was called An Early End. In this article, he talks about the retirement of Jordan Mein from the UFC. The unusual thing about his retirement was that he was only 25 years old. Find out why he decided to retire at such a young age and look at some comparisons to other people who have made similar decisions in the sport of MMA and others.
His second article of the week is titled The UFC Heavyweight Class. In this article, Wade looks at the life of the very first UFC heavyweight champion and transitions to the class as a whole, while looking at other famous fighters like Randy Couture and Tim Sylvia, and 2 heavyweights who fought against each other this past weekend at the UFC 191 in Frank Mir and Andrei Artslavitsky. The article points out fans might be surprised just how closely tied all of these heavyweights are.
Have you drafted a fantasy sports team yet? Michael, I asked you a question.
I thought you were talking to our Cleat Geeks out there. I haven't drafted one yet.
Why?
Should I have?
Yeah, why not?
Well, I haven't had time. What's the big rush?
Football is like 5 days away.
Well, I'll probably draft one in 4.5 days.
Alright, sounds good. Well, before you draft that team, you need to go to our site and read the 30+ articles that we have on fantasy football.
Wait a minute. Cleat Geeks has over 30 articles on just fantasy football?
Yes. We have articles ranking the NFL's quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. Plus, we have in-depth articles on such things as what rookies will make the biggest impact, how good quarterbacks come to those who wait, and an article, 10 tips to win your fantasy football league.
That sounds impressive. I think I will do that. And I will take some notes too.
You need to take some notes on how to not interrupt me when I'm talking fantasy football. Later this week, we will also have 2 interesting articles that talk about a player who, in the writer's opinion, falls from the elite, and the one who in turn rises into the elite. And finally, you need to check out my article on the top 5 fantasy quarterbacks.
That's right, Gabby. This past week on CleatGeeks.com was 1 week of wall-to-wall fantasy football. So there is a lot of information currently on our site. Plus, you are not the only woman giving her opinion on fantasy football. One of our writers actually interviews a woman he calls the fantasy football guru. In the article, I asked my FF guru, and this is what she said. And she says a lot. Gives her opinion on draft strategy, who her sleeper pick is, and who she thinks will be a bust. He also asks her about picking defenses, kickers, and they examine the effect of Peyton Manning being on a fantasy football team.
Alright, so we have covered MMA and football. What other sports were covered on the site this week?
Let's take a couple minutes and look at hockey. This past week we looked at the Nashville Predators, the Montreal Canadiens, and the Minnesota Wild. Each article gives the team overall record, notable losses, and signings, as well as the breakdown of stats from last year. Then the author talks about the previous season, takes into consideration the moves made or lack thereof, and then makes the prediction based on the stats and additions and subtractions. Our NHL Ice Geek already has articles lined up for next week on the Islanders and the Devils.
Are you just a casual NASCAR fan? Do you know all the rules to the chase for the cup? We do, and we will give them to you in the article Rules for the Chase. The article looks at the rules to actually get in the chase, once the chase starts, and the final 10 races in order from now to the end of the season.
But at CleatGeeks.com we follow even more.
Michael, we have breaking news. Jake Arrieta threw his no-no last Sunday night at Dodgers Stadium. It was his first career no-hitter and the club's 14th. The Dodgers showed Jake and the Cubs a lot of respect by sending the game-used pitching rubber, dirt from the mound, and game balls. It was a class act by the Dodgers. Once back home in Chicago, the Cubs celebrated Jake's accomplishment with a pre-game ceremony at Wrigley. To see the full article, go to CleatGeeks.com.
We also have other baseball articles on our site this week. We have an article on the Cubs' acquisition of Fernando Rodney, what it means to the team, and what his role will be. We also have an article on the steal of home by Elvis Andreas of the Texas Rangers. The article includes two different videos. One shows the actual stolen base as it happened live, and the other is an interview after the game with Elvis about the play. And lastly, we have a great article for any kids who are thinking about becoming a pitcher, and it has everything to do with football. We explain in an article called A Great Drill for Pitchers, Football.
Calling all soccer fans, this week we posted 5, that's right, 5 different soccer articles. Make sure you check them out at CleatGeeks.com. Also interact with the writers and let them know what you think on the articles. Again, check out the 5 amazing soccer articles. You won't be disappointed.
You can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/CleatGeeks. We are also on Instagram. You can search in the search bar Cleat Geeks, and on Twitter at Cleat Geek.
Thank you for joining us for episode 2 of the Cleat Geeks Weekly Sports Report. As for Michael Allen, I'm Gabriella Garcia. See you guys next week.